Okay, grade 8. This is chapter 4. It starts here on page 267. So this is lesson 1. And in this lesson, you need to know how to do this. Plot a point, label, all this you need to know. Okay? All this is vocabulary you need to know in this unit. So actually, chapter 4 starts here, page 263. This is where chapter 4 starts. The vocabulary that you need to know. Continuous data, dependent variable, all this, you will see them in this chapter. So, a lot of lessons in this chapter require you to know how to get points from a graph, all that. So make sure you do this, okay? All right. So we start here. This is lesson 1 in chapter 4, representing relationships. The key vocabulary that you must know how to describe it is the linear equation, okay? All right, so let's start. So write your notes, chapter 4, lesson 1, the title, and the date. Okay, so the success criteria, all these things you need to know for you to be successful in this lesson. You need to know how to read correctly and use math vocabulary correctly. You need to know what the question is asking for. You need to know how to answer the question in a complete sentence, how to write a linear equation correctly, how to correctly find the slope and the y-intercept, how to draw a graph correctly, how to read a graph correctly, okay? How to use the equation to answer the question that is asked. You should also know how to draw a table and fill a table correctly. So here, how to draw a graph correctly and fill a table correctly. Okay? Now, let's look at the vocabulary. So you're reminded this from grade 3. What is an equation? An equation is a mathematical sentence stating two quantities are equal. Okay? That's where you started writing equations. Actually, maybe even kindergarten. Anyway, a mathematical sentence stating two quantities are equal. There has to be an equal sign for it to be an equation. That means the left is equal to the right. Okay? Then what is a linear equation? Because there's different types of equations. Okay? There's equations that are linear. There are equations that are not linear. So it doesn't matter what type of equation. An equation means the left side of the equal sign is equal to the right side of the equal sign. Now, when it comes to a linear equation, it is an equation whose graph is a straight line. Linear means straight line. So, what lines am I talking about? Diagonal going up, diagonal coming down, a vertical line, and a horizontal line. Use a ruler. I don't even think my line is horizontal. Okay? So, linear equations are equations of a horizontal line, vertical line, diagonal line up, diagonal line down. Which means you need to know the slope and the y-intercept for you to write the equation. You should know that. The equation of the diagonal lines always starts with y. Y equals. That means horizontal. So here diagonal will mean diagonal up, it will be y equals to mx plus b. Diagonal going down will be y equals to negative mx plus b. How do I know? My line is going up, my slope is positive. My line is going down, my slope is negative. Okay, so the equation of the horizontal line you should know is y equals to a number. It can be positive, it can be negative. It doesn't matter. Why is it missing the mx? The mx is 0. The horizontal line, the slope is always 0. And because the slope is 0, I don't need to write it. I can write this as y equals to 0x plus 3. So since this is 0, I don't need to write it. So that's why I just wrote y equals to 3. Just like that. Okay? Now, the equation of a straight line can be written in different forms. It can be written in the direct variation form. It can be written in the slope-intercept form. It can be written in the standard form. It can be written in the point-slope form. Okay? So all these equations represent a straight line. Okay. So linear equations can be represented in multiple ways, in different ways. A linear equation just doesn't come as an equation. It can come in different ways. It can come in words. So you need to know when you read, is my story representing a linear equation? You need to know from the story. You also can get a linear equation from a graph. You can get a linear equation from a table. You can get, and you should know from the equation whether it is linear or not, okay? So there's multiple ways of you representing a linear equation. In this lesson, you will find from a table, a story, or a graph. What will you find? The slope. How will you find it? Use the 2 points and the formula. What's the formula? Slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay? Then, after you find the slope, find the y-intercept. Use the slope-intercept form to help you find b. Okay? So you use the slope-intercept form to help you find b. You will see how I will do it. Then, the equation. Use the slope and the y-intercept. So the answer from the slope and the y-intercept, use them to write your equation. Okay? So use the slope and the y-intercept and write the equation in slope-intercept form. In this lesson, all your equations should be in slope-intercept form. That means y equals to mx plus b. Then you will use the equation to solve. So you need to read to make sure if the question is given you x or y to solve. So reading and solving correctly is very important. And how will you know if the question has given you x or y? The units will tell you. So when you read, you need to make sure you are reading carefully. All right. So let us look at the first example. Okay. Here. All right. Given the table, this here, so as I look at my table, I should already know my first column is X, my second column is Y. Given the table that shows the number of books and cost, write an equation to find the cost of the books for any number of books. Describe the relationship in words. How much money will R1 need to buy 25 books? So that's what we need to do, okay? All right. So first I need to find my slope. As I look at my points, I see I have decimals and I have whole numbers. It is easier for me to to solve with whole numbers. It doesn't matter, I can use the decimal still, but it is easier to solve with the whole numbers, yes? What do I notice? My numbers are increasing at a constant rate of 1. And also here they are increasing. Okay? They should be increasing at a constant rate of 750. So because these are still, both of them are constant, then this is a direct variation. You see how I just know? Okay, I already know this is a direct variation just by looking at my values. Since this is the same, this is plus 1, and on this side I did plus 750. This is just me thinking. Plus 750, plus 750, plus 750. Then I need to find if they're proportional. 1 divide 750 is 750. 2 divide 15 is 750. 3 divide 2250 is 750, like that. If I divide my y and my x, I will get 750 all the time. So that is how I know it is direct variation. Okay? So I can check that. So I can say y over x. So I can do 750 over 1. And then I do 15 over 2. Then 2250 over 3. I should get 750 all the time. What is the other one? 30 divide 4, that should give me 750. And 5, 37, 50 divide 5, that should give me 750. So I know this is a direct variation. I already know. Anyway, I want to find my slope. I will use 215 and 430. So I will write them there. 215 is my first point, and 4,30 is my second point. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. So I say slope equals Y2 minus Y1, X2 minus X1. 30 minus 15 over 4 minus 2. 15 divided by 2, which is 750. So that is my slope. And I can confirm from here also. Now, because I already know this is a direct variation, I should know that my y-intercept is 0. But let's prove that the y-intercept is 0, okay? So I will use one of these points. It doesn't matter. I'll do 2 and 15. So I will use 2, 15. This is my x, this is my y. Then I will write my point slope form. Y equals to mx plus b. My y is 15. My m is 750. My x is 2 plus b. 15 equals 750 times 2 should be 15 plus b. I want b, so I will subtract 15 on both sides. So this is a house, it goes away because it is 0, and this goes away because it is 0. So I'm left with b equals to 0. Do you see that? So my y-intercept is 0. I circle it because I'm going to use it. Okay? Now I'm going to write my equation. I know my slope, so my slope is 750. And my y-intercept is 0. So my equation will be y equals to 750x. I don't need to write the 0. And that's my answer. Okay? Now describe the relationship in words. Okay? So I will say let X represent the number of books, and Y represents the cost of the books. So that's what I said. I said Y represents the cost and X represents the number of books. Okay? Now, I have answered this question. Okay? After that, I will also say, for every one book, we pay 750 dirham. So for every book, we pay 750 AED. I'm describing this. So when you're describing the relationship in words, it means you're describing the equation. You have to define the variable. So I have defined my variable. X represents the number of books, and Y represents the cost of the books. Then I say for every book we pay 750 dirham. If there was plus something here or minus something here, then I would talk about that minus or plus. But because it is 0, I stopped over here. How much money would Arwa need to buy the books? That means I need to use this equation to help me answer Arwa's question. So Y equals 750 X. Books is who? X. So that means I'm going to replace X with 25. So Y equals to 750 multiplied by 25. That should give me 750 multiplied by 25 is 187 and 50 fils. 187 dirham and 50 fils. Okay? So that's how much Arwa will pay for 25 books. And you answer in a complete sentence. Arwa will need... The question asked, how much money would Arwa need to buy 25 books? So she needs more than 187. So she will need about 200, yes? You can say she will need about 200 dirhams. Or you can say she will need about 188 dirhams. As long as the number is more than 187. Arwa will need about 200 AED to buy the books. To buy 25 books. To buy 25 books. Okay? So this can be any number as long as it is above 187 and 50 fils. 190 is also a good estimate. Okay? All right. Question 6. We have been asked to use the graph below to write a linear equation. what would the value of y be when x is 12? And what would the value be of x when y is 120? Okay? All right. So the first thing is to find points on my graph. This you should be able to do and know from grade 3, how to find points on a graph. So I see my first point is here. My second point is there. My third point is here. My fourth point is here. My fifth point is here. And my sixth point is there. So see, I have 6 points on my graph. So this is negative 10, comma, negative 8. Because I went on x, from my point I went on x, I got negative 10, and then I went on y, I got negative 8. Then this one will be negative 6, negative 6. Then this one will be negative 2, negative 4. This one will be 2, negative 2. This one will be 6, comma 0. And this will be 10, comma 2. Okay? So then I can make my table. I'll write my x, I'll write my y, negative 10, negative 8, negative 6, negative 6, negative 2, negative 4, 2, negative 2, 6 and 0, 10 and 2. Again, my point, I came down, I got 10 on x, and then I went to y, I got 2. You should know that, okay? So there is my table. And then I notice my slope will be positive because my line is going up. I also notice my y-intercept has to be between 2 and 4. It has to be a number between 2 and 4. Can be between negative 2 and negative 4. Negative 2.1, negative 2.2, negative 2.3, like this. I don't know. I have to calculate to make sure that, but I know it is a negative number between negative 2 and negative 4. That's how much I know. So now, I need to find my slope. I already know it is positive. I can use the graph. I can use the formula. I want to use the formula so this way I don't make a mistake. So, I don't know. I can choose positive numbers. It doesn't matter. I can choose. I like working with positive numbers. So I have 6, 0 and 10, 2. Make your life easy. Don't make your life difficult. x1, y1, x2, y2. Slope equals y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. 2 minus 0 and 10 minus 6. 2 over 4. Am I right? And this means 1/2. I can decide to leave it as a fraction. It doesn't matter. Now I need to find my y-intercept. Or I can use it as a decimal. It doesn't matter. Okay? So my y-intercept, I want to use this one. 0 is always easy to work with. Or I can use 10 too. Okay, let me use 10 too. Okay, this is my x, this is my y. So then I will use y equals to mx plus b. My y is 2, my m is 0.5, my x is 10 plus b. This is 2 equals to 5 plus b. I want b. I subtract 5 on both sides. This becomes 0. Negative 3 equals to b. Okay, so there is my y-intercept and there is my slope. Now I need to write my equation. Y equals to mx plus b. Slope is 0.5 and my y-intercept is negative 3. So this will be y equals 0.5x minus 3, or I can write it with a fraction. Y equals half x minus 3. And there, I have solved it. Now, what would be the value of y when x is 12? Choose whichever one you want. So I will use the one with the y equals to a half x minus 3. Now, I need to confirm I am correct. My slope is positive because my line is going up. I am correct. Negative 3 is between negative 2 and negative 4 because my y-intercept is here. Okay? So I know I am correct. So now they want me when x is 12. So I will put this in bracket. So y equals a half bracket 12 minus 3. Y equals a half times 12 is 6. 6 minus 3. So y equals to 3. So then you say when x is 12, y is 3. So you write 12, 3. So all this is your answer. Okay? Then they want us to find when y is 120. I can use the same thing. So I use y equals a half x minus 3. They told me y is 120. So 120 equals 12x minus 3. I will add 3 on both sides. So this will go away. And this will be solved. It becomes 123 equals 1/2 x. Then I will do multiplicative inverse. Okay? So I will multiply both sides by 2 over 1. Multiply both sides by 2 over 1. Because I'm using a fraction as a slope. If I was using the decimal, I would just divide by 0.5 on both sides. So x equals 123 multiplied by 2. So that's 6. That is 4. That is 2. So 246. X is 246. And this is your answer. Okay? Then what do you say? When y is 120, x is 246. And then you will write 246, 120. And then you... Now, how do I know I'm correct? If you can see over there. When it comes to the positive numbers, the x is bigger than the y. The x is bigger than the y. So that's how I know I'm correct. And also I know I am correct because I solved correctly. Okay? So there. You have used your graph. You should know how to find points from the graph. After you find the points, you should know how to label the points with the numbers. After that, put them in a table, find your slope and y-intercept, And then answer the question that was asked. This is the most important part. If you do this wrongly, everything else will be wrong. So you must know how to find a point. Remember, this is not a point because it's not on the corner of the box. It has to be on the corner of a box. There has to be 3 lines, you see? 1 line, 2, and then the dark line. So that dark line has to go through the corner of the box. So where the 3 lines meet, that is where the point is. The light, that one, the horizontal, the vertical, and the diagonal line. Where those 3 lines meet, that is where the point is. Okay? All right. So all right, let's do the last part. So now you've been given a story, and then they will ask you, let's read. Khadija earns a monthly salary of 36 AED. That already told me this is slope because of the word monthly. And a bonus of 1200 AED every year. So bonus is earned only once. So this is my Y-Intercept. Write an equation to find the amount of money Khadija earned for working and earning a bonus. There you go. Y equals to 3,600 X, because it is monthly. So X is the number of months, plus the 1,200 bonus I will get, or the 1,200 bonus Khadija will get. And there, that's your answer. Okay. Now make a table. So your table, this is X, the number of months. This is not supposed to say days. This is supposed to say months. Okay. And then this is the total earnings. Total earnings. And the unit is AED. And it's going to be represented by the letter Y. And here I'm going to do my work. So 3600 bracket X plus 1,200. Okay. So they told me which numbers to use on X. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They told me. So then we do here. So 36 bracket 3 plus 1,200. 3,600 bracket 4 plus 1,200. 3,600 bracket 5 plus 1,200. 3,600 bracket 6 plus 1,200. 3,600 bracket 7 plus 1,200. So then I do here 3,600 times 3 plus 1,200 equals 1,3,200. 1,3,200. So 13,200. Okay. And then after 4 months, 3,600 times 4 plus 1,200, 156. Okay. So I can just keep on adding 3,600.